Good afternoon, Alan Vandenberg here. Another episode of EQ for You. I believe it's episode number 4. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about how leaders can kill rumors. How leaders can kill rumors. So it should be lots of fun. So just a couple of items I would like to mention before we kind of get into the topic. The first is just a question. And the question is this: what is the one productive thing that you are doing to pass the time during this quarantine time? What is the one productive thing that you're doing to pass the time during this quarantine? For me, I've been playing lots of guitar, learning songs that I've always wanted to learn. Learned a couple of songs, one from a band called Sweet Comfort Band that I've liked ever since I was in high school, and then another couple songs from Todd Rundgren, another artist that I really enjoy listening to, just a very talented artist. So if you could just reach out to me on whichever social media you're watching this on. Tell me what's the one thing that you're doing, the one productive thing that you've been doing during this time of quarantine. And the second is, if you have a time and you're looking for something to read during this safe at home, stay at home, I do have a book available. It is EQ Killed the Radio Star. Came out in February, right before this pandemic happened across the world. And it is available. So, inside the book, I discuss the link between EQ, rock bands, and work groups. And I also offer up 6 EQ skills and tools that you can use. And one of them we're actually going to be talking about today, called the IBR model for communication. So enough of that. I want to get to the topic. The topic today is how leaders can kill rumors. So today, most organizations struggle with communication anyway during normal times, much less a pandemic. And there is so much noise out there right now for individuals, for work groups, for companies. There's so much noise and so much inputs into our lives and our brains. So the question is what should leaders do right now? We have all this technology that's available, and it's not that we don't have it, it's how do we use it? When I'm coaching leaders, I ask this question quite a bit. How are you communicating up and across your organization? Several years ago, I was coaching a leader, and we were going back and forth, having a really good conversation. And finally, he just looks at me and says, "Alan, the organization does not know what I'm doing." And I asked him the question. I said, "So how are you communicating to them?" And there was a long, silent pause. And you could tell that he was kind of thinking about, well, I need to do better in that. And we put a plan together, and he started communicating up and out through the organization. And his department thrived because of that one question: how are you communicating? And so today, as leaders, particularly today, we are running and running and running and doing all this work, and sometimes we totally miss the communication aspect of how are we doing? What are we doing? And I'm totally guilty of this. I get in a project, or I'm leading a group or leading a team or leading an initiative, and I forget about how am I communicating. So as leaders, how do you kill rumors? It's one of the biggest things that's facing us right now because of all the noise and things that are happening. Our employees come in, and then they go home and they hear of friends and relatives, layoffs, furloughs, organizational financial health, and just uncertainty of the future. And that's just for our company. And then for employees, it's their job, their company, their family, and in the midst of this worldwide pandemic. So Gallup did a study several years back that found that 13% of employees strongly agreed that leadership of their organization communicated effectively. 13%. So that leaves 87% remaining for room for misinformation to spread and ultimately rumors to spread as well. So how can we as leaders stop, or at least reduce, some of the rumors that are happening with our team, with our company, and inside of our areas? So we hear this all the time. Well, this is really easy, Alan. All you have to do is communicate. Communicate more. Well, yeah, but how do you do that? If you as a leader reach out and let's say your strategy is, hey, I'm going to call every single employee and just call them up on the phone, see how they're doing, the people that work for me, and you call them up and what do they say? So what do you want? Oh, I was just calling in, checking on you. No, what do you want? That's usually how those conversations go. At least that does for me. When I'm calling coworkers or people that work for me, that's kind of how they're kind of wondering, what are you looking for? So I can tell you that I can't tell you how many times over the last couple of few weeks that I've had family and friends that I've talked to where their managers and leaders, they haven't been talking to them. They haven't been telling them the crucial things that they need to know about the health of the organization, about what's going on. And so some of the things I've seen that have been done very, very well, best practices, if you will, is many leaders are having daily or set days to have video conference meetings where each person is to give their updates. But then there's also an area where there's some Q&A. How's it going? What are the things that you're hearing? Those are the kind of things. One leader I know has been randomly just starting up Microsoft team meetings, just in the middle of the morning or middle of the day, not scheduled. Hit the button and all of a sudden there's a meeting from the boss, and so the video chat comes on and what does the leader say? Just checking in, see how things are going. It's kind of like what we used to do with the office drive-by. Remember those days? Seems like it was months away, and it really wasn't that long ago. I was talking to a friend who works at a global company, and they had a company-wide video conference in which the CEO said, just straight up, for now, we're okay financially. We're not going to have any layoffs. We're not going to have cutbacks at this time. I need your help to reduce spending, but we'll evaluate this at the end of the summer. And I just thought that was so poignant because, again, it's killing rumors that may or may not be out there. So leadership communication is so needed right now. I've not heard a single person that I've talked to over the last few weeks that says, my company is way over communicating. They're just communicating way too much information. That just doesn't happen. So what is the tool that we can use to communicate? Well, in the book EQ Killed the Radio Star, I talk about this. There's a tool called the IBR model that I learned from a really dear friend of mine. His name is Dusty Staub, and he taught me how to use the IBR model. So what is the IBR model? When you're communicating, what is your intent? What is the behaviors you are going to do? And what is the result that you're expected to get from that conversation? So if you think back to the random Microsoft team meeting, what was that leader doing? What was the intent? His intent was to connect with his employees. And how did he do that? By randomly just scheduling a drive-by virtual meeting. And the result was and is his employees are more engaged. So it's intent, behavior, result, very powerful tool to help when you as a leader need to communicate, again, with the result being to reduce the confusion or rumors from spreading. Is it perfect? No. Do you have to use it every day? Yes. And that is the tool. So if you'll use the IBR tool, I think it will be effective for you. I've used it now for years in communication in small teams and big teams and large groups. There's an IBR for the communication of EQ for you that I'm using right now. That I've done an intent, a behavior result of that. So I hope this is helpful for you. Again, I hope everyone's staying safe. I really enjoy doing these, so reach out on social media and send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Again, stay safe, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Thanks.